Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. Last night in the Big Brother house, part one of the final HoH competition took place. For some reason, they decided they didn't want us to see it on the feeds. Don't get me started about that.
But it happened. We know who won the first part, and we're going to tell you here.
Yeah, and we'll kind of set the stage for part two, what is going to be a very, very pivotal competition, as though it would somehow be anything different than pivotal. But
Yep.
Anyway, if you guys want to check out some other coverage we're doing, we took on the Amazing Race earlier this week. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that and all the other cool stuff we've got going on.
It is a really fun season, guys.
It is. We're 2 episodes in. I'm having a great time. I mean, I usually do with the Amazing Race, but especially now.
Yeah, it's not too early for you guys to jump in. And also, we're going to be having a fun weekend over here. We're going to actually take a little bit of time for ourselves. We'll still be here. But, last weekend we watched some Nick Cage movies, and maybe this weekend we'll do some Keanu Reeves.
I don't have as good a Keanu Reeves impression as I do a Nick Cage impression.
We're also going to have some enchiladas. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff, but we are going to be posting some pictures over on our Instagram, which is Matt and Jess TV. So if you're not following us, you can give us a follow and see if you're interested in a little more of our personal life. We don't talk about it very much here on channel. As you guys know, we like to focus on the TV, and you guys are probably like, you're a minute and 30 seconds in, you haven't told me who won the HoH yet. It's Nicole.
There you go. That is the setup. The thing, you got to that before. I know people were dying to hear me say, as Nick Cage, the clues are in the Matrix. That's like the Nick Cage Keanu crossover. No, Nicole. I don't know if Nicole likes Nick Cage or Keanu Reeves, but Nicole has won part one of the final HoH. She has a chance to win that national treasure that is the $500,000 prize at the end of this season.
Yeah, and learning what this HoH competition was, which was like, the endurance where everybody's spinning around in the air and they're getting slapped by like a giant pizza or a bird and they're throwing things at them, and that's what the challenge was. She's small. This challenge does favor people who are smaller.
I kind of felt like this was probably the way that it was going to go, unless the endurance was something that would kind of give a level playing field, because I think Cody is by far the most physical of the three of them. But, if it's something that does favor small people and makes them less dizzy or whatever else, she was going to do well. Her secret training with Victor before the season is finally paying off.
Endurance usually does well for people who are smaller, but however, we saw that wall endurance a while back, and Cody did pretty well. He was at the end and just decided to fall off the wall, so he could have done well here.
That, by the way, is still possibly my favorite endurance app, mostly because no one actually seemed to really want to win it. It was like, who can throw that competition the fastest? Nobody threw this. Enzo apparently was the first person that was off. It seems like he made it like 20 minutes or so. It's not like he did terribly.
Yeah, it sounded like the whole thing lasted like 35 minutes.
I know there are still people out there that are like, this is weak sauce, but just remember this. I think there was an endurance competition. I don't remember what season it was a few seasons ago, where by the time the feeds came back, like after the show, it was almost already over. At least this is not that.
This is not an easy competition.
Yeah, and this is coming from a person who, I want to believe that I could last at least as long as Enzo in doing this, because all you got to do is stand there and hold things, but rope burn? Rope burn is a serious issue that impacts everyone. I can maybe go 5 minutes and then I'm done. I'm toast.
It is a real thing, but for me, it would be the spinning.
Yeah, I think I can handle the spinning. I can't handle the rope. It would be a tough competition, but Cody especially, I don't think he wants to really say it, but he seems like he's really super salty about this competition after the fact.
Yeah, he's upset that, as I said, there's a giant pizza or wall or whatever, something that as they spin around, they're hitting it. And that's part of what makes it difficult. And Cody seems to be upset that Nicole wasn't hitting it as much as he was hitting it. Production is behind the wall being like, oh, is that Cody coming? Okay, let's push it out and pull it back. Oh, it's Nicole coming. Let's make sure we pull it back further. That's not happening.
Hashtag Cody was pushed. No,
Oh,
no, I'm not going there
come
again. But no, I this is the thing, is that from what I know about physics, and it's too bad we can't bring in Ian here to give us a further instruction all of this, but Cody is a larger person than Nicole. Cody is going to arrive with greater force upon whatever it is. He's going to run into it more, but he wasn't full like tinfoil hat. Production is, rigging it for Nicole or anything like that, and I don't think they really would. I don't know why production would be rooting for Nicole, but I do think that I understand his frustration if he is seeing her not really having to deal with this adversity, and after the fact she's like, yeah, I hit the wall, and Cody's like, yeah, you hit it once.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that he'd be a little frustrated that, this particular comp is not really a level playing field for everybody. Let's be honest about it. Endurance typically isn't a level playing field for everybody.
Very few things that Big Brother are.
That's right.
Let's all collectively remember how the women just got totally hosed at the start of this season with some of those comps.
Yeah, no, they typically aren't, and that's where we're going with that.
Yeah, so this is part one. Part two, probably, this is just my guess. I think it's going to be tomorrow, and we'll kind of see exactly what happens. I guess theoretically it could be today, but I'm expecting it to be tomorrow, and it is Enzo versus Cody. I've been talking about the battle of the bros for like 2 months now, and I thought it was going to be Cody and Tyler, but the battle of the bros is now Enzo versus Cody.
Yeah, here we go. Enzo. Could you imagine if it was Nicole and Enzo in that final HoH? Cody is going to be so pissed. He really is.
Cody can be a little bit of a cranky pants sometimes in the Big Brother house, and I get it. He's used to things going his way. He's a very good player. It would drive him crazy to have to sit around for like 5 days, not be able to do anything, not be able to control his fate. Granted, I think Enzo's probably not winning part two. I am very, very worried about his fate.
I'm just not sure. He's won a couple HOHs. Nicole's won, a couple. They've kind of won the same.
Yeah, I think this is what we kind of know traditionally about part twos, is that they're like somewhat physical. They're not like a foot race or anything like that. But the biggest thing is they always tend to involve some sort of like memory component to the season, like you're arranging events in order or something like that. I kind of feel like Enzo needs to hope that Cody makes a mistake somewhere along the way.
Yes.
If that happens, I think Enzo can pull it out. Enzo, he knows he's screwed at this point. Like he told all of us feeders that he is in really bad shape now.
And I'm not 100% sure that that's true. After watching last night's episode and seeing Nicole laying on the couch there outside and sort of, of course production was putting in her like cheering and winning and all that, but she was saying those things where she was kind of trying to, put out there into the universe that she's going to win and she's going to be the first 2-time winner and she's going to win. She has said multiple times that she knows she can't beat Cody. She has said it. So if she's on the couch doing that while other people are like working out or whatever, and this is where her headspace is I need that title, I have to have that title, she may actually not take Cody.
It's true. Like, I think Nicole would be ridiculous to take Cody to the end because I think Cody would beat her. And
yeah, because they also mentioned yesterday she was like really excited. She's like, yeah, I'm the person who's been in the house the longest, more than anybody who's ever played this game. I have the most days. And that's a title that she was really excited about. So this 2-time winner thing, it's coming, guys. I think she's going to cut him.
I think she has to cut him. It's if this is really where Nicole is at, she has to be aware of what's going on. And I know she didn't seem to want to cut Cody at Final Four. Maybe it's because she wanted to be ensured that she was in a position she could feel good about now. I don't know the reasoning behind any of it, but ultimately, I think Enzo, in Enzo's head, I think Enzo believes that there's a chance that he will just be cut in third place again. I think Christmas throwing that out in her speech, I think it is like crawling into Enzo's brain.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's worried about it.
Like,
he knows that he's there with Cody, who has made final twos with both of them. Both of them know that that is sitting out there.
Like, I still, like you said, I still think Enzo has a good chance of finishing in second place and getting that $50,000. But with that being said, part 2, this is the only way that Enzo can win this show, in my mind, is that he has to win part 2. He has to win part 3. He has to cut Cody. He has to make that move. That's it, and if he does that, based on that jury segment yesterday, who is going to vote for Nicole over Enzo who cuts Cody? Maybe she gets like 1 or 2 votes, and to quote Enzo, that's it.
Yeah, they've said that whoever cuts Cody is basically going to end up winning the game at this point. And I can understand that. But at the same time, I've been saying this all season, I still feel this in my gut, that they are just not going to want to give Nicole a 2-time win. And cutting Cody isn't enough. Like, it's not enough. They've both won kind of around the same HoHs and vetoes this season. Nicole has had an alliance protecting her all season. Enzo hasn't, and he's had to figure out other ways to still get to the end. To me, if I'm a jury member, someone who's protected against someone who wasn't, and both of them made it there, cutting Cody is not, at the finals, is not necessarily enough to give them the win. A 2-time win. It's a really big title.
If it is Nicole and Enzo at the end, and Nicole is the one who cut Cody, I do think that's going to be a very interesting finale, because I think that there are people like Memphis. He does not seem to be down with the game that Nicole has played.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to want to do. We don't know how Enzo's actually going to react in the final 2, because Enzo, you finished in third place your first season, so you didn't get that chance.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's going to come down to their speeches, and I think Enzo is going to focus more on his strategic game and what he did. After seeing Nicole's speech to Cody, I think she is going to dive into some of her gameplay, but I think she is going to hit some of those hearts as well to be like, we're friends.
Yeah, I think that's totally going to be on her mind. My fear with Enzo, speaking of hearts here, is that Enzo saw his kids, and it was such a sweet moment on the show. He got emotional. He was kind of upset that he got emotional because he doesn't like to show emotion. The problem, I think, is that I think it has messed with his head a little bit. He's admitted as much. It's sort of taken him out of the game, and he's sort of talking now about how he just doesn't really want to talk to anyone. He just wants to go home. He just wants to see his kids. He's not saying he wants to quit or anything. He misses them so bad now that he's seen them, and they're such a big part of his life that I need you, Enzo, to focus. Your kids love you. They need you to bring the cheese. You need to focus on the cheese.
It's only a few more days, Enzo, and I totally get it, because we've seen it on Survivor and other shows where they bring in these like family videos and stuff, and then all of a sudden somebody's game is ruined because they need to go home. It's easier kind of a bit when you're just in the bubble and you've got the blinders on. You're like, all I have to concentrate on is this game. And then it's like, hi, Dad. And all of a sudden it's like, it's over.
And it's such a different thing, I think, with kids. And I'm not saying that Nicole or Cody weren't emotionally affected by seeing their significant others, because of course they are. But it's, you take care of your kids. You look after your kids. And I think it's a very different sort of feeling that Enzo probably has going through in his head right now.
Yes.
The only other thing I think we can say is Enzo was up very late talking to Nicole. There wasn't really a lot of game talk per se, but you gotta put those planks together, Enzo. Repair that bridge with Nicole so that Nicole approaches you later with a possible final 2. Enzo, you gotta do this. Think about the brie. Think about the provolone.
I think just that angle in general of working on friendship with her is the way to go, because that is something that she uses in this game to get votes. He needs to work that.
All right, well, tonight there will be a Big Brother episode. I'm not expecting any craziness here. This is probably just the
Clips episode.
Yeah, the clips episode, all of that. It seems like more of the HoH and maybe some pre-jury stuff is going to happen next week. If you guys take away the opportunity to see us have Janelle, like, on finale night with, like, the final two, I'm going to be so disappointed in you, Big Brother.
Why are you putting that out there?
I'm worried. With how they're organizing this show, these shows coming up next week, I feel like I don't want to roast or anything like that, but it's just like, I want the people in the final two to know sort of what a lot of us think about the season. Does that mean?
Yes. No. Of course, she's got to be there.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think about Nicole winning part 1 in the comments and what you expect for part 2. Can Enzo pull it out, yo? And if you do like this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.